Have you ever been so irritated by someone's petty disrespect that you just had to get even? That's exactly what happened when my wife and I were on vacation in the Caribbean. A couple decided to steal our favorite beach loungers on our last day. But what they didn't know was that I had one final act of poetic revenge ready before we left. If you've ever had someone walk all over you and then wished you could serve justice with a smile, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Because today's story is about the kind of subtle revenge that tastes even sweeter under the Caribbean sun. Let's dive in. I don't know about you, but when I go on vacation, I'm not looking for chaos. I'm looking for peace. My wife and I had been working like crazy for months, and when we finally booked a week-long stay at a beautiful Caribbean resort, we made a pact. No work emails, no phones, no stress. Just sun, sand, and the kind of relaxation you can only find with a frozen drink in hand. The resort wasn't crowded. That's one of the things that made it so perfect. Every morning, my wife and I would head down to the beach after breakfast and settle into the same two loungers under a large palm tree. The shade there was just right, enough to keep us cool in the afternoon heat, but still open enough to let the sun kiss our skin in the mornings. It became our little ritual. Same spot, same view, same peace. Over the days, it started to feel like hours. Not officially, of course, but you know how it goes. When you've been in the same place all week, it becomes part of your rhythm. You recognize the waves, the sound of the bartender shaking cocktails behind you, the laughter of kids in the distance. It's your vacation home base. But then, on the fourth day, everything changed. That morning, a new couple checked into the resort. They were the type of people you notice. Loud, flashy, always with drinks in their hands, no matter what time it was. The guy had this smug look, like the world was just one big waiting room for him. The woman wasn't much better, constantly adjusting her sunglasses and glancing around as if she was rating everyone on the beach. The first time we noticed them, they kept glancing in our direction, not in a, hey, hi neighbor kind of way, more like they were sizing us up. My wife leaned over and whispered, "They've looked over here 3 times already. You think they're jealous of our spot?" I laughed it off. "Maybe they just like the view," I said, shrugging. But deep down, I noticed it too. Fast forward to our last morning. We wanted to soak up every final minute before flying home. We came down around 9 a.m., towels in hand, excited to enjoy one last lazy day in our favorite loungers. Except, when we got there, something was off. Our loungers were already taken. Not by people, but by someone's stuff. A couple of beach bags, flip-flops, a sun hat, and 2 resort towels carefully laid out. No one was actually sitting there. We looked around. The beach was almost empty, but there was no sign of the owners of those items. I stared for a moment, confused. "Maybe they just went for a quick swim," I said. My wife frowned. At 9 in the morning? And they already claimed our spot? The worst part, there were plenty of other empty loungers available. But these, our loungers, were in the perfect position, shaded, close to the bar, a great view of the ocean. It felt deliberate. We waited for a while, but they never came back. Finally, we decided to move to another spot, not terrible, but further back and without that nice balance of sun and shade. Still, I tried to let it go. After all, we were leaving the next day. Why let 2 strangers ruin the last day of paradise? Around noon, as we were sipping our drinks and watching the waves, the mysterious couple finally showed up. And sure enough, it was them, the same smug pair who'd been eyeing us all week. My wife spotted them first. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," she muttered. They sauntered over to the loungers, dropped into them like royalty, and cracked open their drinks. But here's the kicker. A little while later, my wife decided to take a dip in the water. While she was out there floating near the shoreline, she saw them walk past me, heading towards the bar. They looked right at me, then laughed. Not a friendly laugh, not a misunderstanding. That kind of cruel, knowing laugh people give when they know exactly what they did and they're proud of it. That's when my wife came back, eyes wide. They did it on purpose, she said, drying off. They took our spot because it was ours. And that was the moment I felt that spark of righteous revenge ignite inside me. I wasn't going to argue or confront them, no yelling, no scene, but I wasn't leaving this resort without a little poetic payback. That evening, as we were packing our suitcases for the flight home, I told my wife my plan. "We're getting up early tomorrow," I said, grinning. "How early?" she asked. "Early enough to make them think someone beat them to their favorite spot." She raised an eyebrow, then slowly smiled. "I like it." We went to bed early, setting an alarm for the crack of dawn. The next morning, before most of the resort had even started breakfast service, we crept down to the beach. The sky was still painted in soft pink and orange hues. The loungers were empty. The beach was silent except for the sound of waves. And that's when our quiet, perfectly petty revenge began. We didn't just toss a towel down. We went all out, as if we were planning to spend the whole day there. We laid down fresh resort towels, perfectly folded. We placed our half-used bottles of suntan lotion neatly beside them. And for the final touch, we left our inflatable pool floats, the ones we'd been using all week, positioned just right, like we just stepped away for breakfast. It looked believable. Anyone walking by would assume, "Oh, someone already claimed those." We smiled, admiring our hard work. "You think they'll wait?" my wife asked. "Oh, they'll wait," I said, "and they'll probably spend the whole morning stewing, wondering who dared take their spot." We didn't stay to see it. That was the beauty of it. Our revenge didn't need an audience. We grabbed breakfast, checked out, and left the resort feeling lighter than ever. I like to imagine the scene later that morning. The couple showing up around 10 or 11, sunglasses on, drinks already in hand, walking confidently towards their air loungers, ready to claim their throne again, only to see them already taken. Towels, floats, lotion, all the signs of someone else's early morning claim. The look on their faces must have been priceless. Maybe they waited an hour, maybe two. Maybe they kept glancing towards the restaurant, wondering when the mysterious occupants would return. By the time they realized no one was coming back, the best hours of their day would have been wasted. And that, my friends, is how you take your peace back without saying a single word. Revenge doesn't always have to be dramatic or cruel. Sometimes the best revenge is quiet, subtle, perfectly tailored to the person who wronged you. That morning, as the plane took off and I looked down at the shimmering Caribbean water, I couldn't help but smile. We hadn't just gotten even. We'd left them stewing in the same petty frustration they tried to give us. Except now, it was their last day in paradise ruined, not ours. It wasn't about vengeance as much as it was about balance, a poetic little reminder that what goes around really does come around. Sometimes in life, you don't need to fight every battle head-on. You just need to be clever enough to let karma do its thing, with a tiny push from your side. Respect is free, but so is poetic justice. And honestly, ours came with a view of the ocean. If you've ever had someone disrespect you and wished you could serve a little justice of your own, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories where karma gets creative. Comment below, what's the most satisfying petty revenge you've ever pulled off? Your story might just be the next one we tell.